A dry herb catcher is one of those accessories that you didn't know you need, but once you get one, you won't know how you ever lived without it. When you use any vaporizer with a water pipe adapter, some of that flour is inevitably going to make it through the water pipe adapter and it's going to end up in your water piece. You might ask yourself, well, what's the difference? I still have to clean this, right? Well, it's a lot easier to clean this than it is to clean this, and this is a smaller water piece. Once you get into the big ones, it can be a bit of a pain. Think of a dry herb catcher as first level filtration. When those little bits of flour make their way through the adapter, the vast majority of those are going to end up in the dry herb catcher rather than end up in your water piece. And this is one of those pieces I only recommend cleaning on occasion, as when it gets a little bit sticky over time, it's going to do an even better job at trapping all those little particles. A dry herb catcher is a useful accessory for any vaporizer you're running through a water tool, but I find they're almost a necessity when you're using them with a ball vape like the Freight Train, for example. I love my Freight Train, but if I put the bowl directly on here and then I go ahead and hit it, this is going to get dirty very quickly because a lot of little particles end up making their way through this bowl. But it's super easy to fix that with a dry herb catcher. Put that on your water piece, and then your bowl goes on top of the dry herb catcher. This way, when you're using your Freight Train, the vast majority of those little bits of flour are going to get trapped in the herb catcher rather than making their way into your water piece. All of our dry herb catchers have a 14mm female input joint and then a 14mm male output joint. So it doesn't change the size of the joint. If you have a 14mm female water piece, putting one of these on your water piece is going to keep the joint sizes exactly the same. The first one we have is called the barrel, and this lower section is going to catch those little bits of flour while the vapor is going to go through that curved piece of glass down into your water piece. The high airflow is designed to get the max airflow possible, and this features a little scoop that the flour is going to go into and 4 large air slits to not influence the airflow whatsoever. Finally, we have my favorite one, and that one's called the Mr. Twister. And the Mr. Twister has a very unique design. The vapor is going to go down through this long section. It has a whole large intersection to catch all those little bits of flour, as well as this curved section. That's where the vapor is going to go out, and the vapor is going to go all the way through this curved piece down into your water piece. Not only does it look cool, but this one's going to do the absolute best possible job because it has 2 stages of filtration. But whichever way you decide to go, they couldn't be any easier to use. Just put that on your water pipe, put your vape on top, use it as normal, but you'll notice your water pipe will keep way cleaner.